As we all know, the world changed 5 years ago this month. And I would go as far as saying the world changed 5 years ago on this day when we got this headline, breaking news that Tom Brady was leaving the Patriots after 20 years. March 17th, 2020. The worst St. Patrick's Day there could ever be. Brady announced he was leaving. 3 days later, he was a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. And 5 years later, none of us are the same. It's not. And in fact, we've gone as far as we can get from what that organization was before Brady left 5 years ago. They're a joke. The team's awful. They can't pick a coach. They've won 8 games in the last 2 years. They're absolutely pitiful. They have an archaic team playing. Their owner is just trying to get into the Hall of Fame while everything else falls around them. Brady's terrible on TV. Belichick is doing this weird ass post where he's holding up a 24-year-old girlfriend with his legs on a beach. It's if you were waking up from a 6-year coma, you'd be like, what the fuck has happened to the New England Patriots? And you would be right to ask that. What the fuck has happened to the New England Patriots? It all started with that. I mean, we all kind of knew that's where it was going to start, right? I loved the people that would say, yeah, but when Brady leaves, you guys aren't going to be as good. And it's like, yeah, no shit. He's literally the greatest player in the history of the sport. Oh, really? We're not going to be as good? Wow. Fucking Einstein. And I don't care about these arguments of like, oh, it was all Brady or it was all Belichick. I think it's stupid. Like, there's no such argument for Bill Walsh and Joe Montana. Nobody, like the Bulls haven't done anything really since Jordan left, but nobody says that. They're just like, oh, the Bulls had a great dynasty. They're not going to say that about Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs when he leaves. They're not going to say, oh, well, they weren't anything without Patrick Mahomes ever. It's like, well, you had fucking 20 years of Patrick Mahomes. It's like, who cares if the Patriots were anything without Tom Brady? They had 20 years of Tom Brady. And they won 6 Super Bowls with Tom Brady. And then 3 days later, he signs with the Bucs. The rest is history. Because since then, he's won a Super Bowl and rode off into the sunset. And the Patriots have gone through 5 quarterbacks and 3 coaches. And what's crazy is just how much has changed, right? As soon as he left, it was Jarrett Stidham is our guy. It's Jarrett Stidham. He's going to take over. They really believe in him. They like his makeup. And then it was Cam Newton. Oh, prove it deal. Here he goes. 1 year, former MVP. He'll return to form because he needs to make some more money. It's his last chance. Then you go out and draft a quarterback in the first round and he beats out Cam Newton in training camp. And we're all on board again. Since then, 3 head coaches and 5 quarterbacks, starting quarterbacks, none of which were Jarrett Stidham, by the way. We had Massachusetts, we had the Zappy Hour, we have now whatever the hell with Drake May, and you really start to realize now how much it takes to get back to contention in the NFL. Because think about it, the Patriots do have the quarterback. And not every franchise who retires a Hall of Fame quarterback gets a very promising young one within 4 years. It doesn't happen like that all the time. To some that would be very quick. The Jets never replaced Joe Namath. It took the Chiefs 25 years to even get an over the hill Joe Montana, let alone Patrick Mahomes. So it doesn't often, and I'm not saying Drake May is a future Hall of Fame or anything, but he is your franchise quarterback, right? He is. And yet you're still talking about year 3 being the year that they can actually win something, like win some games, because going into year 2 right now, they still don't have half an offensive line and they don't have any weapons for him to throw to. So it just goes to show you how good we had it and how much it takes to get back into contention in this league. But yeah, it all started going wrong when Brady said he wasn't coming back, when the Patriots would not go from $25 million to $30 million, which is what he got for the Bucs. And at the time, with the Belichick Kool-Aid, I think you could have convinced a lot of people saying, okay, Brady might be good when he leaves, but it's probably the best thing for us to do. Some people. A lot of people didn't think that way. And it all unraveled in that first year. Brady wins the Super Bowl. The Patriots are awful. They make it to the playoffs once since then, but it was arguably their biggest playoff embarrassment ever with how thoroughly beaten down they were by a divisional opponent that they used to own. The Bills crushed them in that, 47-17 or something? You've gone through it all. You've gone through the rise and fall of Brady's replacement. You went through the rise and fall of Brady's apparent replacement who didn't start a fucking game for you. You went through a Cam Newton experiment. Like you've gone through, two non-offensive coaches being the OC and quarterback coach for your second year quarterback in Mac Jones. You've gone through an offensive coordinator who didn't even know the players on the team. It's like they've literally, in the span of that 5 years since Tom Brady said he wasn't coming back, they went from the model organization in sports to, you could argue, the worst organization in the National Football League. It's completely fallen apart around them. And I think that's actually a great argument for how much it was both of them, Belichick and Brady. Again, hate the argument, but if that's not the best reason for it right there, I don't know what is. That the whole thing has fallen apart when they're both gone. Of course, it got to the doorstep of falling apart while Belichick was still there. Don't get me wrong, but I am surprised at how quickly Campbell has fallen, because within 3 years it had completely fallen. Like the bottom had fallen out. They were fucking awful. And here we are 5 years later, being, again, what we talked about with the report card and the draft position, among the worst teams in the league. Worst organizations in the league, with still like not a ton of optimism. Like we're really grasping at optimism with Mike Vrabel because it's better than the last guy. The optimism is Drake May, but when you have literally nothing around him, it's tough to get very optimistic about the 2025 season. It just is. So that was the moment it all happened. And I think we all knew where we were. I was working at a news station in Waco, Texas, and I had literally just gone in for the day, and this news came across my phone. And within minutes, I had people heckling me in the news station. I think we all knew where we were when that happened, and the fate of the Patriots and therefore the fate of the NFL changed on that day. Let me know where you guys were on that day. Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe. We're here every day, every weekday anyway. High noon Eastern time on YouTube, live, and then wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Cam Stewart. Zach Burke's with me all the time. Check us out on the channel.